Sometimes it's tough to say no, but it's crucial to stand firm when it comes to our values and honesty. In an ideal world, forgiveness would be a given, and we'd all get a chance to start anew. But let's face it, reality hits differently. Some wrongs are just too deep to be fixed with a simple second chance. In fact, giving someone that opportunity might only add to the pain. That's why it's essential to understand where to draw the line when it comes to forgiveness. Our mental and physical well-being should always come first. We're here to help you recognize those moments when it's wiser to learn from the past than to risk repeating it. While it's important to be empathetic, it's equally important to confront the consequences of someone's actions. Stoicism, that ancient philosophy, it tells us to see things as they are, not just as we wish them to be. Sure, giving someone another shot is a sign of hope and faith in their ability to change. But let's not get carried away with blind optimism. We've got to base our decisions on logic and evidence. That means taking a hard look at someone's track record. Are they stuck in a negative cycle? Will giving them another chance only drag us down further? So, in this video, buckle up because we're diving into 14 crucial points to consider before handing out second chances like candy. Stick around till the end. And if you enjoy what you hear, a little thumbs up and a subscribe wouldn't hurt. It's a win-win. You help us out, and it costs you nothing. Let's roll. To all fellow seekers of knowledge, if you appreciate what you're hearing, kindly tap that like button and consider subscribing for future content. Let's get started with our exploration. Number 1. People don't often change. Let's face it, changing deep-rooted behaviors or personality traits is no walk in the park. It's not just about realizing you need to change and wanting to. It takes consistent effort and sometimes even professional guidance. This kind of transformation is tough, complex, and honestly quite rare. Most people tend to fall back into their old ways, not because they want to, but because those habits are comfortable and familiar, even if they end up causing harm to themselves or others. And here's the kicker. Successful change doesn't happen in a vacuum. It needs the right environment and support from those around you. Without these crucial elements, even the most determined individuals might struggle to make significant progress. Now, don't get me wrong. Change is possible, but let's be real here. Expecting someone to completely overhaul their character or behavior, especially without genuine motivation and proper support, is a long shot. So, when it comes to giving someone a second chance, you've got to tread carefully. Depending on the severity of their past actions or behavior, you could be setting yourself up for disappointment. Sure, we all hope for change, but sometimes that hope is more about what we wish to see rather than what's actually likely based on their track record. Understanding that people don't change overnight doesn't mean we should just stop caring when they mess up. It's a chance for us to take a step back, assess the situation, and prioritize our own well-being. While it's noble to offer support and encouragement, let's not forget that the responsibility for change ultimately lies with the individual themselves. Realizing this can be liberating. It allows us to focus on our own growth and nurture relationships that are mutually beneficial and respectful. So let's keep our eyes open, set clear boundaries, and focus on fostering connections that help everyone involved to thrive. Number 2. Always uphold your values. When it comes to giving someone another shot, it's crucial to hold tight to your values. It's like this golden rule of life. Always stick to what you believe in, no matter what. That's where Stoic philosophy comes into play. It's all about staying true to your principles, no matter the circumstances. For the Stoics, virtue and integrity are like the Holy Grail, the ultimate goods that should guide every decision we make. So, before you even entertain the idea of giving someone a second chance, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask if this aligns with your deepest values. Are you staying true to your moral compass? Because let's face it, compromising on your values just to give someone another go can lead you down a slippery slope. Ignoring past behavior that hasn't exactly been stellar can land you right in the middle of a cycle of disappointment and regret. See, when we let harmful actions slide without addressing them, it's like giving them a free pass to keep on hurting us and others. But by sticking firm to our values, we draw a line in the sand. We create boundaries that not only protect us, but also shape the way we interact with the world. Now, don't get me wrong, being compassionate and flexible is important, but that doesn't mean we have to sacrifice our principles in the name of forgiveness. True wisdom lies in knowing when a second chance is worth it, and when it's just a recipe for more trouble. So, stay true to yourself. Keep those values front and center, and remember, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to say no. Number 3. There are individuals who find it difficult to apologize. There are some folks out there who just can't seem to bring themselves to say those 2 little words, "I'm sorry." It's like apologizing is their kryptonite or something. But here's the thing. Regret, it's this tricky emotion. It's not just about feeling bad. It's about owning up to your mistakes and genuinely wanting to make things right. And that's key for patching up relationships and moving forward. Now, if someone can't or won't muster up some real regret, it's a red flag. It's like they're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle: self-awareness and a commitment to change. Without those, personal growth is like trying to swim upstream with no paddle. You see, true regret goes way beyond a simple sorry. It's about digging deep and understanding how your actions have impacted others. It's about rolling up your sleeves and making some real changes in your behavior. Without that deep understanding, apologies just ring hollow like a broken record on repeat. And trust me, empty apologies, they're about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. But here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes a person's reluctance to show regret isn't just about being stubborn. It could be a cocktail of things: pride, selfishness, or even deeper issues like narcissism or a lack of empathy. And let me tell you, those traits, they can throw a wrench in the works faster than you can say, oops. So when you're faced with someone who's all bark and no bite when it comes to apologies, think twice before handing out second chances like candy on Halloween. Because here's the reality. Giving them another shot might not solve squat. In fact, it might just give them a free pass to keep on with their shenanigans. Consequence-free. And nobody wants that, right? Number 4. Forgiving isn't the same as getting back together. Let's talk about forgiveness. It's this powerful act that's all about setting yourself free from the chains of anger and hurt. It's like giving yourself this incredible gift, the gift of peace and emotional well-being. And here's the kicker. Forgiveness, it's a solo journey. You don't need the other person to change, apologize, or even know they've been forgiven. It's all about you, making that choice to let go and move forward. But hold up, because here's where things get a bit trickier. Reconciliation. Now, that's a whole nother ballgame. Reconciliation, it's like the superhero version of forgiveness. It's about patching up a broken relationship. And let me tell you, it takes work. It's not just about saying sorry and calling it a day. Both parties need to roll up their sleeves and put in the effort. For real reconciliation to happen, there's got to be understanding, empathy, and changes from everyone involved. It's like rebuilding a house from the ground up, brick by brick. You've got to rebuild that trust, set some ground rules, and agree on how things are going to be different moving forward. But here's the thing. Forgiving someone doesn't automatically mean you have to let them back into your life. Sometimes, even though you've forgiven them, it's just not wise or even possible to salvage the relationship, especially if they're still out there doing the same old song and dance, the harmful, abusive, or dishonest stuff. And that's where setting boundaries comes in. Sometimes keeping your distance is the best way to protect yourself and honor your own needs. Choosing not to reconcile, it's not a sign of weakness or bitterness. It's a sign of strength, recognizing that some relationships are beyond repair. And that's okay. So remember, forgiveness is for you, reconciliation is for the relationship, and sometimes the healthiest choice is to let go and create space for your own healing and growth. It's all about finding that balance and doing what's best for you. Number 5. Deep-rooted problems usually don't just go away. Deep-rooted problems, they're like those stubborn stains that just won't budge no matter how much you scrub. What we've seen and learned tells us that when something's deeply ingrained in a person's personality or behavior, it's not going to magically disappear overnight. Nope, it takes some serious intervention to shake things up. These issues, they run deep. We're talking about stuff like broken promises, manipulation, abuse, the real heavy hitters. And here's the kicker. They usually stem from past experiences or traumas, or sometimes just from straight-up refusing to face our own flaws. Now, let's talk real talk for a sec. If someone's been showing these harmful behaviors for a while, chances are they're going to keep popping up like those annoying weeds in your garden. Unless, of course, there's some real recognition, willingness, and effort to change. Choosing not to hand out second chances in these situations? It's not about doubting someone's potential to turn things around. It's about being real. Change. It's no walk in the park. It takes more than just saying sorry or promising to do better. It takes guts, commitment, and a whole lot of sweat equity. Because here's the deal. Without those key ingredients, awareness, desire, and a long-term commitment to change, you're just spinning your wheels. And trust me, those same old issues, they're going to rear their ugly heads again, leaving you stuck in this never-ending cycle of hurt and disappointment. So, yeah, it's tough. But sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to recognize when it's time to say enough is enough. It's about setting boundaries, protecting your own well-being, and holding out for the kind of relationships that lift you up instead of dragging you down. Number 6, always say no when you need to. All right, here's the deal. When you need to put your foot down, just do it. It's like this golden rule of self-care, saying no when it counts. See, forgiving someone, it's all well and good, but it doesn't mean you gotta let them waltz right back into your life like nothing happened. Nope, not at all. Saying no, it's all about putting yourself first, your peace, your emotional well-being. That's what really matters. It's like setting this boundary that says, hey, I'm not going to sacrifice my own happiness just to please others or meet some social expectation. So when you're thinking about giving someone another shot, take a good hard look at the situation. If they haven't really shown any signs of change, or if they haven't owned up to the mess they made, then it's okay to slam the door shut. And let me tell you, saying no, it's like putting on this suit of armor that shields you from getting hurt all over again. Toxic behavior, abusive patterns, they rarely change unless there's some serious soul-searching and commitment to personal growth. So don't be afraid to draw that line in the sand. Saying no, it's not about being mean or petty. It's about standing up for yourself, showing that you won't tolerate being treated poorly. And that, my friend, that's what real self-respect looks like. Number 7, learn from the past. Looking back at what's gone down can teach us a lot. Giving someone another shot without really thinking about what they've done before might seem optimistic, but it could mean we're missing out on some key lessons. Forgiveness is cool, but it doesn't mean we should just sweep stuff under the rug or ignore warning signs. It's super important to check if the person genuinely feels bad about what they did, gets how it messed things up, and has actually put in the work to change. Our past experiences give us a heads up about setting boundaries, respecting ourselves, and keeping our relationships healthy. If someone keeps blowing off these basics, it might be smarter to look out for yourself rather than setting yourself up for more letdowns. This doesn't mean you gotta shut the door on forgiveness or future patch-ups, but it does mean trust has to be earned back through actions, not just talk. Number 8, personality and change. People's personalities are a big part of who they are, shaped by their genes, life experiences, and how they interact with others. Usually, personality stays pretty consistent over time, but that doesn't mean people can't change. It's just that real, lasting changes take a ton of effort, some serious self-reflection, and sometimes even professional support. When you're thinking about giving someone another shot, especially if they've messed up before, it's crucial to think about their personality. If their bad behavior is deeply rooted in traits like manipulation, selfishness, or lack of empathy, it's unlikely they'll change without seriously committing to personal growth. Understanding this isn't about being negative or giving up too quickly. It's about being realistic about whether someone can change and protecting yourself from getting hurt again. Hoping for big personality changes without the person putting in real work can just lead to more disappointment. But acknowledging that personality is fundamental doesn't mean we don't believe people can improve. Everyone should strive to be better, but it's a tough, long process. If giving someone another chance could put your well-being at risk, knowing this stuff about personality can help you make smart decisions. Number 9. Don't act on impulse. Acting on impulse can mess things up, especially when it comes to relationships. It might make us overlook warning signs or past issues that could end up hurting us again. Instead of rushing to fix stuff or being afraid of being alone, it's key to take a step back and really think about why the relationship was toxic in the first place, and whether those problems have actually been sorted out. It's super important to realize that forgiving someone doesn't automatically mean you gotta take them back into your life. You can totally forgive them and move on without having them back in your world. Being firm in your decision means knowing your boundaries and putting your own peace and well-being first. So, when you're thinking about giving someone another shot, it's smart to chill out and look at things calmly and clearly. Give yourself some time to weigh all the factors and remember that sometimes the best move is to not go back to something that ended for a good reason. Having the strength to resist quick urges in favor of what's genuinely good for you in the long run shows real emotional maturity and self-respect. Number 10. Nothing is certain. Life's full of uncertainty, especially when it comes to relationships. Thinking that giving someone another shot will magically fix everything is usually just wishful thinking. It's important to realize that nothing's guaranteed when it comes to deciding whether to give someone another chance. Understanding this helps us face the reality that even if someone promises to change and puts in the effort, they might still slip back into old habits. This is especially important to remember when trust has been seriously messed up. Knowing there are no guarantees makes us approach second chances with more caution and realism. It's not about always being suspicious or refusing to forgive, but about being fully aware of the possible outcomes. It also means setting clear boundaries and conditions if we do decide to give someone another shot. This includes making it crystal clear what we expect and what'll happen if those expectations aren't met. This kind of approach protects our emotional well-being and holds the other person accountable. Number 11. Don't let your feelings get in the way of your clear thinking. It's ideal when our feelings and logic team up to guide us to fair and sensible decisions. But sometimes, our emotions can cloud our judgment, especially when it comes to deciding whether to forgive someone who maybe doesn't deserve it. We tend to focus on the good times, hold on to hope for change, and ignore the lessons from the past. Letting our feelings call the shots instead of clear thinking can lead us right back to the same mistakes, hoping for a different outcome. Stoic philosophy, which is all about self-control and seeing things as they really are, reminds us to balance our emotions with our thoughts. It's cool to acknowledge our feelings, but not cool to let them run the show without considering the consequences. When deciding if someone deserves another chance, it's crucial to pause and think things through. This means looking beyond just our feelings for them and considering their past actions, the likelihood of them changing, and how their behavior might affect us. Check if they're truly committed to changing, and if you're prepared to possibly deal with the same issues as before. Setting clear boundaries is key to protecting yourself in this process. It's not about holding a grudge or refusing to forgive, but about making sure your emotional and physical well-being stays intact. Sometimes choosing not to give a second chance is just about taking care of yourself, not about holding on to bitterness. Number 12. You play a crucial part in your own life. All right, listen up. You're the star of your own show, and that means you've got a crucial role to play in your own life. It's like this empowering reminder that while we can't control what other folks do, we've got full control over how we react to their antics. So, let's talk second chances. Deciding whether or not to give someone another shot? It's not just sitting back and letting life happen to you. Nah, it's about taking the reins and making an active choice that reflects your values, your boundaries, and your self-respect. By recognizing our own agency, we're basically saying, hey, my peace of mind, that's on me. It's about refusing to let folks who've hurt us in the past waltz right back into our lives without a second thought. It's like giving ourselves permission to put our own well-being first. And check it out, Stoic philosophy. It's dropping some real wisdom here. True peace, it ain't about external stuff. It's about mastering self-control and living by our own moral compass. Being active in our own lives. It's about making conscious choices. It's about surrounding ourselves with folks who lift us up instead of dragging us down. Sometimes that means saying thanks but no thanks to those who don't deserve a second chance. But here's the kicker. It's not just about cutting ties and calling it a day. Nah, it's about taking those tough experiences and using them to grow. It's about saying, you know what? I'm not going to be a victim of circumstance. I'm going to learn from this, grow stronger, and become the person I want to be. So take charge, my friend. You've got the power to shape your own destiny. It's time to step up, own your story, and make choices that reflect the badass person you are. You've got this. Number 13. See the power in moving on. All right, let's talk about the power of moving on. It's like this superhero move that's not just about shrugging off bad vibes. It's about taking a stand for our own happiness and peace of mind. See, sometimes we hang on to relationships for all the wrong reasons. Maybe it's because of all the memories we've shared or the history we've built together. But here's the thing. If those relationships are causing more harm than good, it's time to hit the road. Moving on, it's like giving ourselves permission to prioritize our own well-being. It's about admitting that we deserve better. Better than stress, better than conflict, better than constant sadness. It's about clearing out the clutter to make room for relationships that lift us up, not bring us down. And let me tell you, taking that leap, it's not for the faint of heart. It might mean saying goodbye to long-term friendships or even family ties. But you know what? It's worth it. Because the peace and freedom it brings, that's priceless. By choosing to move on, we're not just leaving behind toxic situations. We're taking control of our own emotional landscape. It's a bold declaration that we're brave enough to carve out a path toward better mental health and more authentic connections. So, yeah, it might be tough at first, change always is, but trust me, the payoff, it's huge. It's about recognizing that our personal growth and peace of mind are non-negotiables. And it's about knowing that we're strong enough to make the tough decisions, even if it means stepping out of our comfort zone. Number 14. Realize that setting boundaries is good for you. Let's talk boundaries. It's not about being selfish. It's about taking care of yourself. See, when we set clear boundaries, we're laying down the law for how we expect to be treated. It's like drawing a line in the sand and saying, hey, this is where I stand. And here's the thing, boundaries, they're like our safety net. They keep us from getting hurt or ending up in sticky situations. Plus, they create this vibe of respect and trust in our relationships. It's like building a strong foundation for healthy interactions. Sticking to our boundaries? It's like sending out a memo to the world about how we want to be treated. It's about mutual respect and caring for each other's needs. But here's where it gets real good. Boundaries also save us from burnout. They give us the power to say no to stuff that drains us or pushes us past our limits. It's like hitting the pause button and saying, hold up, I need to take care of me. And check it out, over time, setting boundaries. It's like this secret recipe for happiness. It keeps us from getting worn down or feeling resentful. It's all about keeping that balance and making sure we're not spreading ourselves too thin. In conclusion, embracing Stoicism in our approach to forgiveness can be a powerful guide in navigating complex interpersonal dynamics. While forgiveness is often encouraged as a path to healing, it's equally important to recognize when setting boundaries and prioritizing our own well-being take precedence. Refusing to forgive, especially after enduring repeated harm or encountering certain behaviors outlined in the 14 points discussed, is not a sign of weakness, but rather a demonstration of strength and self-respect. By aligning with Stoic principles, we empower ourselves to make informed decisions about who we allow into our lives and how we choose to respond to their actions. In doing so, we honor our values, protect our mental and emotional health, and pave the way for genuine growth and fulfillment. So, yeah, take care of yourself, my friends. Your happiness and safety, they matter. And hey, if you found these tips helpful, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We're all about sharing the love and helping each other out. So until next time, take care and remember you're worth it. Stay safe, stay stoic, and remain blessed.